Hey y'all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are when you see this video. Thank you for joining me, Dorothea, on Through an Orthodox Christian Lens. It's October 18th, 2025. As you know, Trump and Zelensky had a meeting regarding Trump suggesting he's going to give Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. If you saw his words on the airplane, they were interviewing him on the airplane the other day. It was really not a good speech or talk, or his response, because he said, "Oh, I have to talk to Russia first," which was fine, but he was like, "Well, Russia needs to end the war. So, man, if he's not going to end the war, I can go ahead and send those. I'll go ahead and send those Tomahawk missiles." Yeah, and that's going to end the war quicker? No, that's going to continue the war. So he contradicts himself in that particular moment. And it was a stupid thing to say, really. But anyway, let's see what happened with Trump and Zelensky in their meeting about this topic. Trump-Zelensky meeting was bad, says Axios. The Ukrainian leader left Washington without promises on Tomahawk missiles, the outlet sources say. Friday's White House meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky was tense, with the Ukrainian leader failing to secure deliveries of long-range Tomahawk missiles. Axios has reported, citing sources. Trump told Zelensky he does not plan to provide Tomahawks, at least for now, according to two people briefed on the meeting. The talks lasted around 2.5 hours and were described by one source as not easy and by another as bad. At times, the discussion got a bit emotional, the outlet said. Nobody shouted, but Trump was tough, one source told Axios. The session ended abruptly when Trump reportedly said, "I think we're done. Let's see what happens next week," possibly referring to upcoming Russia-U.S. talks. Speaking to reporters afterward, Zelensky declined to answer questions about Tomahawk deliveries, only saying the U.S. does not want escalation. Well, yes, you would hope so. We would hope that they wouldn't want that, but there's probably another reason as well. Trump said it's not easy for Washington to provide the missiles because it needs to maintain its own supplies for the nation's own defense. Exactly. Now here, he's speaking the truth. He's getting the information, the truth from the Pentagon, which is good. Because as we have heard from many analysts that I listen to, like Colonel McGregor and Colonel Wilkerson and former CIA analyst Larry Johnson, they all say we're running low on our weapons, and the Tomahawks are no different. Okay. He also acknowledged that allowing Kiev to conduct strikes deep into Russia could lead to an escalation. That's right. At least he's saying this now. That's a good thing. I mean, somebody must have talked to him. Moscow has warned against supplying the missiles to Ukraine, arguing they would not change the situation on the battlefield, but would severely undermine the prospects of a peaceful settlement and harm Russia-U.S. relations. And we know that Trump does not want to harm the U.S. relations with Russia, his relations with Putin. We just know that because he's constantly trying to work out deals, Zelensky has sought Tomahawks, which have a maximum range of 2,500 kilometers or 1,550 miles for weeks, insisting that Ukraine would only use them against military targets to increase pressure on Russia and move toward a peace deal. However, the Ukrainian leader has threatened Russia with blackouts in border regions and Moscow. Russian officials also suggested that Kiev is plotting to use the missiles for terrorist attacks. Well, I don't know. The Trump-Zelensky meeting followed a phone call between Trump and Putin, after which both sides signaled plans for a summit in Budapest, Hungary, in the near future. So, no go for Zelensky on this one, which I think is a good thing. We don't want things to escalate. We don't want things to get worse. I understand Zelensky. He's desperate. He needs some help in his war. I mean, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, because either way he's going to be in trouble, whether with the people, the Azov and the people in his government, or through, losing to Russia. So, but it's a good thing that we're not sending those. We'll see what happens with this meeting in Budapest. I think that's a good place to meet. And so, thanks so much for watching. Share your thoughts if you have any on this whole situation. And thanks so much for following my channel. If you ever want to share any of my videos, you can go ahead and do that. Like my videos if you like them. Again, thanks so much for watching, for your support. Appreciate it. Until next time.